Hey, what's up YouTube? Houston here. And for those of you just finding my YouTube channel, welcome. Please remember to hit that subscribe button and that bell. And for those of you that's been following me and supporting me, salute. And for my favorite patrons, always, double salute. Now, for those of you that's looking to start a business in Nevada, whether it be an LLC, a INC, a S Corp, here's the thing about it. Setting up a business in Nevada with bad credit, that's easy, all right? However, there's some things that I'm going to share with you all that you need to understand about setting up a business in Nevada that's very important. One, we're going to talk about what state is the best state to actually set up a business. Number two, we're going to talk about the best lendable NAICS code for your business. Then we're going to talk about the best banks you should open up your business bank account with. Then which net 30s are the best for your new business. We're also going to talk about the easiest first business credit cards that you can get. And then which business lenders should be your first, should you approach to get your first business loan, okay? Now, here's the thing. I always tell people, do not set up a business in Nevada, Wyoming, Delaware, and South Dakota. Now, some of you all may be confused saying, well, we're talking about how to set up a business in Nevada. Well, here's the thing, all right? A lot of people figure that since these states don't charge any state taxes, then I should be setting up my business here. However, they are not aware of, if you're not actually doing business in either of these states for at least 6 months, then you actually are taking chances of piercing the veil and not having any real legal protection. Also, you also increase the overhead expenses because you have to pay for registered agent, plus you have to do a foreign entity in the state that you actually reside in as well. And so if something goes wrong in the business, then the state that you actually are doing business in and you reside in, that state laws can supersede the state that you actually have your business set up in. All right. So that's the reason that for those of you that's looking to start a business in Nevada, Wyoming, Delaware, South Dakota, you really should consider in your own state. Also, adding to that, here's another thing. So you want to get state funding or you want to qualify for state grants and stuff. Well, guess what? If you are not a resident of that state, even though your business is, and you're a foreign entity of the business, you can disqualify yourself from state funding. Also with lenders as well. Because if you're in one state and your business is registered in another state, a lot of lenders see this as a conflict for them. And sometimes they may not give you the funding you need. So that's the reason I tell you, I would not set up a business in either of these states unless I'm actually residing in these states, okay? Now, that being said, let's talk about chef corporations and why I don't encourage for most people to invest into a chef corporation. Here's the thing. With chef corporations, say that you buy a chef corporation in Nevada, okay, and you're not a resident of Nevada. Here's the situation that could happen, all right? With the chef corporation, when you purchase that chef corporation, most people that sell chef corporations, they haven't kept up with the taxes, nor have they kept up with the bank accounts, right? And so with most lenders where they're thinking like, well, this is an H corporation, I can get you funding. But if you don't have up-to-date bank accounts, up-to-date bank statements and stuff like that, then again, it's just like you're starting over. All right, so that's what it will stop you in your tracks from getting the funding that you need. So that's the reason I tell people is the best way to actually start out getting funding. You can start with a brand new corporation, okay? If you have at least a 680, 690 credit score, then there's lenders out there that you can start getting business credit funding and stuff from through that. All right, so in terms of buying a chef corporation, I don't encourage it. Although we offer the service to set them up, we just don't encourage most people to buy a chef corporation because it won't do what they need it to do, okay? Now, let's talk about the most lendable NAICS codes. Okay, if you want to talk about the most lendable NAICS codes in Vegas, all right. Now, here's your high risk: gambling, your restaurant. Now, let me tell you, if you trying to set up a restaurant in Vegas, then you want to be a food distribution company. You don't want to be a restaurant. You want to be a food distribution company. If you want to try to get into real estate, then and versus so you want to say you want to be a real estate investor. You don't want to be a real estate investor. Okay? You want to do like maybe property management or something like that. Something that has that offers a service-based type of thing. But you don't want to be a real estate investor. You don't want to be in the credit repair business. You don't want to be in the financial business, because banks look at that as high risk, and they make it challenging for you to get funding. Not saying it's impossible, but it will become more challenging. Now, let's talk about the banks. Once you have your business set up properly, and by the way, for those of you that don't know how to properly choose the right business structure, you can go to HoustonMcMiller.net, set up a consultation, or three-way funding, and set up a consultation. But once you get your EIN number, let me also pause right now, because I want to talk to you all about this EIN number situation. Many of you may have been doing a DBA and you have an EIN under your DBA. Well, if you're going to really restructure the business so the business is actually separated from you so that you can take on less liability, then you don't want to set the business up as a DBA. You actually, you don't want to use that EIN number that you have attached to your sole proprietor or your DBA. You don't want to use that EIN. You want to get a new EIN. Now, understanding the bank, setting up your, when you first set up your corporation, choosing the right bank. All right. And so I always tell people, at least have one of these banks here. You want to have one of these banks here attached to your corporation. You can have other banks, but I would definitely tell you, you definitely want to have one of these banks as well, because they report to the business credit bureaus. All right. So we know that these report, and I'll tell you another secret. If you're trying to build business credit to get qualified for business funding, then you need to make weekly deposits into your business bank account. And again, if you have more questions about deposits, choosing the best bank and everything like that, again, go to HoustonMcMiller.net or three-way funding. Now, let's talk about net 30s. This is so important because a lot of people, they are spending thousands of dollars on all these net 30s and they still haven't got a business credit card. And they've been building their business credit for 2-3 years, right? Well, here's the secret. Net 30s alone is not going to guarantee you funding. I don't care if you have 100 paydex score with Dun & Bradstreet. It's not going to guarantee you funding. As the truth of the matter is, 95% of banks, they don't even rely on Dun & Bradstreet to give you business credit funding anyway. So that's the reason I'm telling you. I'll tell you something that's more important than Dun & Bradstreet that you definitely should have. See that SBFE? That stands for Small Business Financial Exchange. They're more important than Dun & Bradstreet because they actually feed the information to Dun & Bradstreet. They're more important. So those banks I was talking about, making a weekly deposit so they can report to them, they're more important and they'll share the information. So that's what you need to understand. Now, talking about these net 30s, a lot of people are buying net 30s these days, and they're like, well, how come this not showing up on my business credit file? What's taking them so long or whatever? Well, here's the situation. A lot of companies, they're no longer one and done. All right? They're not going to let you purchase from them one time and then report, and then you don't buy any more products. Now they got to the point where they want you to purchase from them multiple times before they actually report. Also, some of them, they're actually charging annual fees as well. Okay, so since they're actually charging annual fees in reference to in order for them to report, then this is something you have to be aware of. Now, in terms of these net 30s, so you got Shirtsy, but you have to be in business at least 90 days. But they report to Equifax, Credit Safe, Small Business Financial Exchange, and Sonia and National Association of Credit Management. Okay? Now, you have Summa Office. They report to Experian and Equifax. Then you have Quill. Quill reports to Dun & Bradstreet and Experian. Now, some people say, well, what about Granger, Seaton, and Uline? Well, the thing about it, Granger, Seaton, and Uline are okay, but they don't have the same financial component as Quill. So if you have to end up bootstrapping your business to buy a little extra supplies or to need a few extra dollars for marketing and stuff, Quill has a financial component inside of it that you can leverage. So that's the reason that I chose Quill. Now, with Wise Business Plan, here's the thing with Wise Business Plan. You don't necessarily have to buy a business plan. They have other business credit products that you can purchase. Okay? And they report to Equifax, Experian, and Dun & Bradstreet. Now, you also have NAV. NAV is a business credit reporting tracker, right? And they report to Experian, Equifax, and Dun & Bradstreet. So you have to have the NAV Credit Boost or the NAV Business Loan Builder. So I put a link below for a couple of these so that you can actually check them out yourself. All right. Now, here's your easiest credit cards. If you're starting a brand new business in Nevada, these are your easiest credit cards. All right. So you have a Capital One Spark Classic Business. Then the reason I would tell you, if you have at least a 580 credit score and new business and stuff like that, then I would probably apply for this here business credit card. Now, here's the thing about it. They may give you a low limit, like $300, $500 limit, and that's okay. And the reason it's okay, because you want to actually use the card because it's actually going to be reporting on your business credit file to help you build up your business credit as you continue to make deposits. That's how you actually get larger lines of credit. Now, you also have Wells Fargo secured business credit card. Now, you would have to put up between $500 up to $25,000, but they still report to Small Business Financial Exchange, and that's very important, okay, because it's helping you still build up your business credit so that you can get qualified for more business credit cards, business loans, and business lines of credit. DIVVY. Now, DIVVY, here's something that a lot of companies or a lot of individuals that start their new companies, they overlook. DIVVY, they offer a line of credit if you have established business, established credit, or strong credit. They'll give you a line of credit for your business, right? And they report to Small Business Financial Exchange and Dun & Bradstreet. However, you have to understand, if you don't qualify for their line of credit, they have a credit builder program that still reports. So that means that you would have to secure that business line by putting money up front. But long as they report, that's all you want, because you want that data to be reported on your business credit file, as well as with you making your weekly deposits so that you can get more money, right? Now, say that you started a business in Nevada and you have good credit and stuff and you just need a loan right away, right? You have Brass Financial. So you have to have at least a 720 higher score, but they don't look at the business income. They look at what's going on with you to help you get qualified for a business loan. You also have Seek Business Capital. Their loans go anywhere from $10,000 up to $150,000. No time in business, no business revenue, and the minimum credit score is a 680. Okay. Now, ACCION. You can, if you have a brand new business and you have strong credit, then you can get a loan from ACCION, but you do have to have a business plan. So then that's where Wise Business Plans will come in play, because they'll actually set up your business plan and they'll report and they'll give you that 12-month cash flow projection so you can get qualified. One of the things about ACCION, you do have to get a recommendation from their referral partners like SCORE, a Small Business Development Center. Okay, but at the same time, if you have bad credit and you have an existing business in Nevada, then and you have less than $3,000 in outstanding debt, this is also a place that you can go get funding. All right. So for those of you that may have questions about business credit, business funding, or about personal credit funding, check out HoustonMcMiller.net or click the link in the description. Thank you.